Hello everyone, this is Jesse back with Iowa Audio Review. Tonight I got my hands on one of these SMSL Sanskrit 10th or SK10. I bought it because I've not really experimented a whole lot with these little separate or mini DACs. I've always kind of just used my CD player, my computer, even little guys like this we'll get to. So I figured I'd buy one of these and, check it out. See if it was if it makes my audio sound $100 better. But first we'll take a look at the box. Obviously that's what I got. I went with the blue. Comes in red or blue. Yeah, we'll take a look in the box, see what you get here. Doing this one-handed. Piece of foam. It comes in this nice little disposable, super soft plastic. You get this little user manual here, which is okay. I mean, it's a fairly user-friendly user manual, I guess. I don't even know what this is. What is this? More little instructions, I guess. Calibrating gravity sensor, disable automatic screen rotation, just little things. You get one white little USB cord with it, and I'm not sure how long this thing is. Let me hold it out. It's maybe, I'm gonna guess it's probably about 3 feet. That's what the USB was in. You get these dandy little high-res audio stickers that don't really mean anything, and they do give you some little rubber feet to put on it, I guess, which is kind of nice. But other than that, let me take all this stuff here. We're just going to set it back on the box and get that stuff out of the way. Okay. This is the unit itself. Comes with this nice little remote, which this remote I believe they do use for other SMSL equipment. There she be. Nice and aluminum. Feels nice. Got some good weight to it. Like everyone else that's reviewed it has said. It's not really a fingerprint magnet. It's a pretty neutral color or neutral finish. So, and on the back you get your right and left analog outputs. Sorry, getting a shadow in there. Then you got your right here. These two are your right and left analog out, coax in, optical in, and then you have your bottom one here. It says in 1/power. That's your USB in coming from your computer. And then if you're not using this with a computer, say like you're using it to, let's say you have a crappy CD player and you want to have a better DAC for it, you would run your CD player into this optical. But then it would need auxiliary power, and that's where you use that little white cord to plug it in here instead of the bottom when you use the auxiliary power. And they just expect you to have a phone charger laying around. Let me reach under here. This is one I had laying around. It's just an old Samsung one that works fine. Let's see if we can get some light on it. What is the output power on this one? 0.7, 5 volt at 0.7 amps. This is an older, I believe an older Samsung charger. I don't even think it would have the fast charge. But it seems to work fine for it, so that's just, I don't know. If you don't have an old USB power brick laying around, I don't know. You have to go get one or borrow one. And now into the unit itself. Let's see. Let's start with the remote here. The remote, gotta stay out of my own light here. You get top here, you got power, mute. This nice little deal here, which up and down is going to control the volume all the way down to negative. It scrolls pretty fast if you hold the button, all the way down to negative 40. And back to 0, and then side to side does absolutely nothing. Middle button, I'm not sure what that does. It keeps flashing a C over here. I have to look into that. I didn't see that in the manual. What does that do? Come on, do it again. Well, now I don't want to do it. Well, where'd that manual go? Let me see the manual here. There's a layout of the remote here in the manual. Let's see. Okay. Ooh, get some light on it here. According to this, side to side and middle have no functions for this unit. Just up and down its volume. So whatever it was doing with that little C that showed up there, I don't know what that is. It's not, doesn't do anything, I guess. Function or FN, all it does is turn the screen off. You can push it again, turn the screen back on. Then this little circle, the down arrow, just goes through input 1, 2, and 3. Input 1, I believe, is USB. 2 is, I think, optical, and 3 is coax. I don't know. And then again, these 3 buttons down here, your A, B, and C. A and B do nothing. They would apparently do something for a different SMSL component. So if you hit one of these, A or B, it doesn't work. Nothing works because it's not a component. This does. It's not a component. Or I can't talk. It's selecting something that this isn't. So C puts you back on board with this thing. And that's it. So you get a remote with only, I mean, it's a little plastic remote. It's not bad. I think it just takes 2. Let me do this one-handed. Yep. Oh, you get 2 AAA batteries with it, I believe. Oh, wow, one-handed. Not a bad little remote. Buttons feel okay like any other decent TV remote, but I guess they're saving money by having one remote that controls probably several of their products. So yeah, A and B do nothing, side to side do nothing, and the middle button does nothing. Now, far as sound quality, as you can see here, I'm listening on, I have a, you can see there, I have a Marantz receiver SR4021. And this is, kind of looks like a home theater receiver, but it's not. It's more of a stereo receiver in the old sense where it's a stereo amplifier with a tuner in it, aka a receiver, an AM/FM receiver. So it's a stereo receiver more in the old sense. Nowadays, I know receivers are always kind of more, people think of home theater receivers. This doesn't even have a DAC, and it doesn't even have any digital inputs. It's, you know, just an amplifier more or less. And then for my speakers, I have my own homebrew here. These are made of 3/4 inch thick MDF with the Dayton Classic 6.5 with the Hi-Fi TN25, I believe, with two-way crossovers or two-way or second order 12 decibel crossovers specifically built for these speakers. I designed them in the Harris Tech Xover Pro. I believe the tweeter is on a second order Bessel style, where the woofer is on a second order Linkwitz style, and I believe there's Zobel impedance correction on both drivers. Yada yada, very good sounding speakers. I've had them for years. They sound, listen to them on many different systems. I know what they sound like. I know what good quality audio out of them sounds like, and I know what bad sounds like. So, or what I like and don't like. I don't want to say good and bad, because don't forget, audio is just a preference. But initial testing, I did it the typical way. Ran USB from my computer over to here, and it went away because I changed the input. So we got to cancel. There. When you plug it in, like within a split second, if you have Windows 10, I don't know about Windows 7. If you have Windows 7, stop it and get Windows 10. Right there, SMSL Sanskrit 10th shows up, and in advanced, there's your different settings. What I don't like, I don't really know if it matters, but you only get 32-bit. There's no 16, 24, 32. It's just 32-bit and then various, I can't, the word's not coming to me now, but yeah, it's all 32-bit and then different sampling rates or whatever. I was really hoping it would list all the 16, 24, and 32, so because doing it this way is kind of, I guess, a form of upsampling, because, you know, if you have a computer recorded, or if you have a CD recorded on your computer, FLAC, full quality, or you're just playing the CD in your computer, and you have it set to any of these, we'll even say, like, you know, the highest, 32,384, CD is not 32,384. CD is, all CDs standard are 16-bit, 44.1 hertz, and I'm sure a lot of you already know that. But the computer is going to change it to this, the 32,384, and you'll see it because this will say, once I hit test, it'll send out a signal, then this will detect it, poof, 384. So it's basically going to, I guess, upsample your CD to 32,384. I mean, maybe if you set it down here to the lowest, the 32,44, and then you bring it back over here, it still says 384. Then if you hit the test on here, it'll change to 44. Like, it doesn't recognize it until you give it something. But either way, it's always gonna, quote unquote, I guess, upsample to at least 32-bit on a computer. I don't know about about from the CD player, because I also ran the CD player to it through one of these wonderful monoprice fiber optic cables, or optical cables. And when I run the CD player, oh, by the way, this is a Sony DVP S7700. Awesome CD player that I got from Goodwill for 15 bucks. Back in the back in 1999, this thing was like 1,400 bucks. It has the 24-bit 96 audio DAC and DTS output. This does not, it's hard to find a lot of information, but as a side note here, this does not, far as I know, does not apply to standard CDs. I think this applies to DVD audio, because this doesn't play Super Audio CDs, far as I know. But I suppose back in '99, I can't remember exactly if they had the DVD audio back then, and those would have probably used this 2496. But a standard CD on this still plays at 1644.1, because when you put it on here, and play it on here, this stays at 44. It doesn't tell you the bit depth. Now, and then the other way I tested is I have this guy right here. This little Sound Blaster, what is it, the Play 3 or something. This thing's like 20 bucks on Amazon. It's got a headphone and a microphone jack. And this is, I believe, is a 4-pole here, because you can do microphone and audio. I mostly bought this thing because I like using my little earbuds with microphone when I game, instead of like a big headset. And I got a nice set of little AKG earbuds with a microphone, a pretty good microphone, and I can plug those puppies into this guy right here, and then plug this into my computer and use those kind of as a gaming headset instead of having a big over-ear setup. But anyway, this, when you plug this in, here, we'll unplug the SMSL for now. I plug this guy in. Can't find the hole. Alright. Let's see. There, it comes up. Sound Blaster Play 3. Advance this little guy. Now, he does all the 16 up to 2496. And I ran it at 2496 for this specific testing with no enhancements on or anything, of course. And, you know, I got a couple CDs here. I got Phil Collins' Greatest Hits, Fleetwood Mac's Greatest Hits, and Styx Greatest Hits. I got all those CDs I have saved on my computer in full FLAC or whatever, or lossless. And then I also played them on here. And then on my phone that I'm using right now, my Samsung Galaxy S9, I also have the FLAC files of them saved on this phone. And I listened to all these songs from those 3 CDs via CD player, via the computer, via my phone, through this analog plug here, going into the, obviously using the same receiver for all of it. and my initial conclusions, I'm just going to get to it. This did not make my music sound $100 better, at least not in my opinion, not even close. I mean, it did sound better. Like, the main thing I could tell is going straight. Oh, I did also, my computer, I did this out USB and I did this out USB, but then I also did just plug this directly into the headphone jack on the computer like most people do. So I was using kind of the built-in DAC that most audiophiles say is garbage in computers, which it pretty much is. But the biggest difference I could tell for me, so remember that with audio, it's always personal, it's preference. Going from the headphone jack on this set at 24,192, headphone jack out on this to this, I could tell the difference. There is noticeably a little bit more clarity, maybe some depth, I guess, with this. But then I tested with this guy, which I've never really done much with this other than use it just as basically a 3.5 to USB adapter, more or less. And man, I really wasn't impressed. Once you compare these two to each other, for me at least, I actually almost preferred this guy. I don't know what Sound Blaster's doing, if they're modifying it, and because it does seem like it has a little more bass with this, maybe a tad bit more bass. It is a little louder as well. I don't have the box this on me. I don't know what the SPL output or whatever is on this, but this seemed to be a little louder. And I don't know, the music just seemed to be more live. Even if they are doing some sort of, they got some sort of filter built into it to make, I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter because I liked it. So if I had to choose between these two to use on my computer, I would probably actually go with this, because this is only like $20. This is $100. This does not sound $80 better than this. No way. And then as far as the CD player, I just ran, whatever. Where's my, whatever, RCAs out of this into this, which means it's using whatever DAC Sony put in this. I looked everywhere, I could not find out what kind of, just far as for CD, the 1644-1 DAC, whatever, I don't know what DAC this has. If you can find out, put it in the comments, I don't know. It's probably a decent DAC, since this was quite an expensive player back in the day. But yeah, going around listening to those 3 albums via all these different sources, my favorite is this right off the CD player. Just playing the CD in this DVD CD player. Granted, this CD player is probably could be better than what most people have. I don't know. Some people probably have some pretty nice CD players. A majority of people probably just have a crap DVD or CD player that's just they've had a long time or been around or got for cheap. Either way, out of all the options, if I was going to listen to these 3 CDs, I would prefer just to listen to them directly off the CD player. Second option, it's close between my Galaxy 9, and when I did in my Galaxy 9, in the sound settings, it does have a bit, it does have an upscaler, a DAC upscaler built in or whatever. When you enable that, at least to me, there's a very noticeable difference in detail. Especially if you're listening to like 24-bit HD audio from like HD tracks, or what's the other one, like Redbook or something like that. I do have a few HD, the 24-bit 96 audio files. But I guess all that matters at the end of the day is I was hoping to be more impressed by this little guy. To the point to keep them around, because even I believe the analog output on this is 2 volts or 2.1 volts, where the output on a standard CD player like this is only going to be like 0.775, the standard. So this, running your music from your computer or other sources into this and then out, you could run them into, say, like a Crown XLS 1000 amplifier that I previously reviewed that requires that higher input voltage. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm probably going to return it. That, and let me plug it back in. I could never, maybe it's decided to work. I don't know. Let me see if I can get it powered back on. It'll say S10. Okay, 44.1. Now when you flip it, it's supposed to, it is working now. yeah, it changes to this side. And then yeah, you put it there, it'll change to that. You can do that, and it just changed to that. When I initially got it, I don't know why it's working now, because I didn't do anything, but initially, yeah, I think when you, okay, no. You gotta turn it off, I believe. And then you hold this down, the power button down, and when you let go, or maybe it's supposed to be on, I'll turn it back on. All right, I'll hold that down. And I think when you go, okay, now it's supposed to calibrate the screen. Yeah, calibration failed. See, that's what it always said before, then it shuts back off for some reason. That's what it always would say before, and when I would rotate it, the screen wouldn't change. That was the other reason I was going to return it. It would just stay like that all the time. It wouldn't switch like it's supposed to. But apparently, sitting here unplugged, or whatever I did, because I didn't do the calibration during or anytime before this video, apparently it's decided to work now. So, yeah, I messed with this thing, setting it on different tables, whatever, just anything to, because it says this is a position it has to be in to do the calibration. And it would always just say the cal fail or whatever, and when you'd rotate it, it wouldn't change. It'd just stay like that, no matter what. But I guess now it's decided it's not going to do that. Either way, I'm not keeping it. I think we're gonna return this. I'm gonna save up a little more and invest my money in a little bit better DAC. Maybe something like the Emotiva, was it the XDA2 or the Cambridge DAC Magic Plus, or even the, what is it, Project makes one. Either way, all three of those are 2.5 or 1.5 times expensive. This is $100 roughly. I got it for $93 on Amazon Prime. I think most of the other ones range from $250 to about $400, but they all offer upsampling ability. So I think it'd be kind of fun to put a CD in there, run it through a different DAC, and possibly upsample it to, you know, a higher sample rate and see what it sounds like. See if my human ears can tell the difference really between 1644.1 and say 2496 or 24192. Yeah, this video's probably been long enough. I don't think I'm missing anything. Let me unplug this. Another close-up look at the back. I mean, the color is nice. I wish they offered it in black. The red and blue is fine, but they should probably throw black in there. The only reason I went with this one over the SMSL, I think it's the M100, which is like, it's also $100, almost same thing. I think it has a little bit better DAC in it, because this one will do 32 384, and that one, the M100, will do 32. It's like 789. But the M100 is like, well, we'll say it's the same price at $100, but it doesn't come with a remote. And most people that are going to be able to tell the difference between, I don't know, CD quality sound and 32-bit, you know, 789 or whatever DSD, is anyone that's probably playing a lot of that kind of music and has speakers that can, and amplifiers, and, well, we'll just say audio gear that can actually make good use of that high of a quality source, is probably going to spend more than $100 on a DAC for it, or they're just going to use the DAC that's in it. I don't know. I doubt many super high-end systems that are really utilizing that 32-bit 789 are going to have a $100 DAC. Maybe, I don't know. I know if I had that kind of money, I probably wouldn't buy a $100 DAC. But anyway, yeah, I think that's it. If you have any other questions about it, you know, throw them down in the comments, whatever. Again, I hope this video was helpful to anyone looking at one of these, and you don't have to take my word for it. I'm reviewing my experience with it. I'm not saying it sounds like crap or it sounds amazing. To me, to me it's not worth $100. If it was maybe $50, I could probably go with it then, but I don't know. It's one of those things with audio. I know a lot of people like to put their opinion out there. But the thing with audio is it's kind of, you got to do it yourself. You can't always take other people's words for it, and what your buddy thinks sounds best for speakers, or some guy on a forum thinks sounds best for speakers, or an amplifier, DAC, or whatever, or a CD, record, tape, reel to reel, whatever. I've I've been doing this long enough. I've listened to quite a few different systems, and audio is kind of like a flavor, kind of like eating, and not everybody likes the same kind of food. Not everybody likes their steak cooked the same way. Not everybody likes the same sauce with their steak. Not everybody likes the same cars. It's everything's kind of preferential, and the way I set my audio stuff up versus the way some of my friends do or other people I know do is different than me, and it sounds good, but it wouldn't be acceptable to me to listen to that way every day. Doesn't mean it's not good. It just means it's, obviously they have their system set up the way they like it. Everybody's ears are different. Everybody's ears are different shapes. Some people's ears are dirty. Some people's ears are clean. You might have hearing loss from something. You never know. The nice thing about audio is really nobody can tell you your system's bad, because if it sounds good to you, that's all that matters. So I guess what I'm saying with this is, if you're looking for a nice little DAC, buy it off Amazon so you can try it. And if you're in the same boat as me and you just don't think it's worth $100, you can send it right back. And on that note, I guess I'll link it in the description if I remember. If it's not in the description, this means I forgot. This is Jesse with Iowa Audio Review, and like, subscribe if you want. Hit the bell, I guess, because that's what everybody says now. I don't do tons of videos, but I do whenever I get new stuff, I suppose. Have a good night. Bye-bye.